Hey, Tomies. We would like to thank our sponsor, Nerd Alert Treasures, for supporting this podcast. Nerd Alert Treasures makes handmade and customizable dice trays, pencil bags, and our personal favorite, dice bags with pockets. Use our promo code TOMIES, that's TOMIES, for 15% off. Follow the link in the show notes to get yours today, and be on the lookout for Tomies merch. You are listening to Tomes of the Chaos Ball.
I am MC Abby. Vroom, vroom. And welcome to Tomes of the Chaos Bard Mailbag episode. I am Abby. I'll be your host today. And to my left we have
Elsie, Becky,
Evan,
Zeb,
And David.
welcome. So we're just going to get right to it. I'm sort of going to go in the way I received the questions, and some were similar. But this question came from Ewin from Twitter, and also sort of 20 sides, one face. Would you have played or GM'd any moment differently if you weren't being archived forever on the internet? And that we'll start with the DM and then go around the table.
Oh, starting off with me, huh? I think there's been a few moments that I think I had that I wish I could have changed, but at the same time, later on, it actually tied into things. Because I think I would have changed, of course, the mounted combat one is definitely one I wish I could go back and redo.
sorry.
No,
And that
was,
episode took forever to edit, too.
It was. Zeb did an amazing job at editing it. The problem is that I didn't know how to do mounted combat, so I was making it up on the fly, and that got really stressful. So I think that's probably one that I got to be better prepared for those kind of things.
We also recorded that episode like super late.
It was really late.
We were all tired
We were
and
playing that one forever.
That's the one that really sticks out in my mind.
All right, Zeb. Was there any moment that you would have played differently?
more or less in general, like I'm a little bit more of a reserve guy, and so knowing that this is like out on the internet, I don't say maybe as much as Fenrir usually would. And actually thinking about this question actually led me to do a little bit more preparation in part for Fenrir for a few episodes tonight. So hopefully you'll get a little bit more of Fenrir and kind of who he is as I get more comfortable with recording and having all of that out, I guess, archived on the internet. So
I'm excited to hear that. All right, Evan.
I mean, I feel like that's a trick question because I'm sure I can't think of anything specific. But I mean, just in general, like going into it, I know in the back of my head, every episode we're putting on a show for everyone, you know? And so part of me is like, okay, there are a couple instances, even in these last couple episodes where, you know, we're running around the city and doing this and that. I'm like, I've made a decision, and then later on I'm thinking about it, I was like, did I do that for the character, or did I do that for the story? And so that's something that I think I just need to work on a little bit is focusing, you know, it's a story and it's going to be a story regardless of what happens. So let's just roll the story, you know, play the character and not worry so much about, you know, how it's going to affect the story for the audience because they're going to listen to it either way.
Right. But also, we're here to have fun, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Who starts a podcast that isn't going to have fun isn't going to get very far.
That was our biggest reason of doing this, is
to have more fun and to share our fun.
Exactly.
All right, Becky.
not necessarily because it's being put off on the internet, but there are some things that I've talked to David about it. Like I would have liked to have a heads up about so I could kind of prepare my character for, because then it's less of a knee-jerk reaction for me and more of like what the character would have done. Because I have two characters to think about and how they're going to react to each other, let alone individually. So, but there's only been like 1, maybe 2 of those. Other than that, I don't really care.
Well, and adding on to that, I think
Thanks, Garotha.
I mean, I am Garotha, let's be honest here.
just adding on to that,
the
like
answer was Lila.
Lila only. Adding on to that, I think that is one thing that I've definitely learned and that I'm changing is having you guys more involved in the story. There's a lot of things that as the DM I need to keep secret, but there's a lot of things that I need to be more vocal about with you guys as well. Keeping you guys informed on character backgrounds as you guys come up with character backgrounds and I throw new NPCs at you. They'd be like, hey, just heads up, you know this person.
Yeah, and when I had talked to David about it, it was more like, hey, this is going to happen soon. Not necessarily this like in details, but that way I can kind of process what's going to happen and it's less of a knee-jerk reaction from me because I'm just awkward in general, which, I mean, pretty much everybody can confirm. I'm awkward in just a different way than some other people are, so.
And then you stick a mic in front of your face.
And then you stick a mic in front of my face and I'm even more
the mics
awkward.
make me nervous.
It took
Yeah.
us a while to get used to the mics, and our new mic arms definitely helped. But
Well, you can tell in
Yeah.
the first episode how like scared we are.
oh my gosh, we were terrified. Our first episode, we were
guys.
so scared, and
what do
I
we
think
do?
we had to start again like twice. And then
Something like that.
and we had these little baby mic stands like on the table and we were like scared to touch them and we were shaking. We
I
were
was
so
shaking
like our
so bad.
voices were shaking. I don't know if you can tell in the episode, but and then afterwards we listen to it and then we hear all
Oh,
the
goodness.
the disturbance and we're just like that's it. We quit. We're done. We're not putting our story out there.
Right, that was a note on how things I wish you could change. It wasn't
Yes,
archived.
if you're doing archived, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And back to what Becky was saying about like that discussion she had with DM Dave. We did a session 0.1 a year after recording to kind of review the characters, see what direction we were going in. Highly recommend it for any game, not just for a podcast.
Yeah.
Elsie, what moment would you change or moments?
I would
Yeah, as Boudreaux, what would you change? Because you know everything off the cuff.
I just do things. I just like David's told me all the time. He's like, you did. He like quotes me these guys, and
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
what? Who said that? Where'd you get that from?
I didn't say that. No, look, you did. That was
The
you. I had to play the
potato
recording.
incident, that one's one of my favorites.
She cries
Crying over the potatoes.
I like don't even remember that 'cause I really do just do things on the fly. But not Elsie, but Boudreaux. But one thing I would change just for Boudreaux, because it felt a little out of character. I think we were kind of tired. Is I don't know if this episode's out yet, but
Spoiler alert, maybe.
he says that his dad, that Dwal is his dad, and I really wish he wouldn't have
Oh
done
yeah.
that.
Now that you say that, I wish I would have not said that.
Well, not you, me. When
No,
I
I
told
said
it to
it
the
first, though.
group, though. Like,
Gotcha.
in
And see, I
character.
really like that because, like,
I didn't like him.
you don't have to, but, like, Boudreaux never tells us anything. We don't know anything really about Boudreaux.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one who does most is probably Fenny, and Fenny doesn't know a whole lot. So-
And go ahead.
I would say, so for my character, I was like, oh, look, he finally likes us. Outside of, you know, what my character actually thinks.
Yeah.
Along with that, Elsie, there was another question from Caden. Why is Boudreaux so afraid of his dad?
Well, I can't tell you. I guess you'll just have to wait until I create a character episode. Wink.
Which is in the process with a new song.
Oh, yeah. Just wait. I'm going to have to sing in Boudreaux's voice. That's going to be great.
Also, we apologize. We don't answer all these questions, but they will be answered
Later on. Yeah.
later on. We had another question.
What about you, Abby? Oh, what would you change?
What
Nice
would I
try.
change?
Oh, yeah. No skipping on you. How dare you?
What would I change as Henley? I wish Henley would have pushed the agenda a little more with Mendrick in trying to figure out who he was and like actually sneak into his tent, because we have like half an episode where we're trying to and then it never happens. So
Oh yeah, because you run away.
well, because that wasn't the only reason.
We kind of got sidetracked.
We
after
also
that.
got very sidetracked, and I think there was a session in between there somewhere. Oh, I don't know. I wish Henley would have pushed more and gone and actually snuck into the tent. Yeah. I wish I would have done that.
I had a whole thing planned for you if you did.
There are so many
I told
times
you
where I
guys.
think like David mentally like throws his papers. He's like, "Yep, I'm done. I got like all these papers that like I can use later on, but nothing for now." He did once throw
did
his
once.
entire
He did
thing,
throw,
but that I
yeah.
think was just out of frustration.
It was. A description that I thought was correct was not correct, and I was just like, "Ah, what?" I looked at it, Abby looked at it, we got the okay, and then for some reason it did not turn out okay. But it happens.
Back to another character question.
Dun, dun, dun.
This one's from Dakota Tilley. His question is for Lila Grotha.
Mm-hmm.
How did they become one person? It's been mentioned a little bit.
Yeah, it has
but
been mentioned a little bit, but that is something that I'm not going to tell you.
another character episode.
Maybe, maybe not.
We'll
Maybe,
find
maybe
out.
not.
Stay tuned.
Dun dun dun.
No, I think you mostly told us though. In
yeah,
some
I
episode.
gave like the general overview of how it happened, just not the details. Because I mean, the details are fun for me, but not necessarily a whole lot of other people right now.
One thing though is that the clues are there.
They are.
So
Go back and re-listen to your episodes. They're there.
I think episode 2 has a really brief one with Henley that Lila
Yeah.
explains with
Yeah.
Henley.
Yeah, and there's more with there's more a couple of
Oh,
different
and
times.
when Grotha talks to her dad.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's mentioned there a little
It's
bit.
mentioned a little bit there too, and then like 2 other times. Yeah,
It's been mentioned a couple times.
I
for
think
sure.
the only other person's backstory that's been mentioned probably more than mine is Henley's.
Yeah.
See, guys, I'm
And
not the
even
only
Henley's has
secretive one
been
here.
very brief. Okay, on to the next question. This is from Kevin and Natalie Banberger from our Facebook fan page. So this is also to each player and probably DM. What development does your character hope to see in the Hollow? If you save the town, what do you dream of happening around your character if you choose to stay?
Man, that's a lot of like literally what we're doing right now.
It is a little bit.
Go ahead and just wait for these next couple episodes and that'll answer your question.
Right, because we just released episode 27.
27.
27.
And we're up to 20.
And we just recorded up to 31.
31.
We're going to record a couple more after we do this mailbag. So, but yeah.
Can I answer that?
Yes.
So for me, as far as development of my character, it was alluded to early on about how they wanted to kind of change the name more to, instead of Hayden's Hollow, it being more of Hayden's Hope. And so I think that would be something that Fenrir would want for, I guess, the Hollow at this point, for it to thrive, for it to be, a place for, like refugees in the story that if they feel like they don't have a place to go, that, oh, you know what? Yeah, let's go to the Hollow. The Hollow is a place where, everyone's welcome, everyone's allowed there, and just to kind of see it thrive.
Yeah.
So
That was, I think, my favorite moment for Roscoe out of the entire series still is that conversation.
Yeah,
That was
cool.
really
That was
powerful.
real cool.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. But I mean, going on what Zeb here has said, I mean, once you get through the current episodes, you'll have heard multiple times now Roscoe has gone on about how, they want to just be able to survive and do their own thing and stuff. And so I think that's his end goal, is just getting it to the where, whether or not Roscoe stays there, I'm sure there's plenty of adventures out there for a little halfling to go on. But he just wants to make sure that they're going to be okay and they're taken care of. They've seen some stuff and they're a town of refugees trying to rebuild. And I mean, that's his goal, is just to, let these guys, give them the opportunity, because right now they don't even have that.
I think that's probably what it is for most of us. Honestly, we just want people to be happy
and
Yeah.
somewhat safe in their
Yeah.
little tucked away corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I don't want anything to do with the Hollow.
But if anything happens to Willow, DM Dave, you will have a riot on your hands.
I mean, yeah, you've got a point there.
I've been threatened several times. If you do anything to Willow, secretly he's the bad guy. I mean, spoiler. I'm sorry.
Don't believe
Make
anything.
a known the bad guy.
I have
that was
created
Dora.
the Kalinator. It will turn everything into kale. I will take over the whole tri-state
secretly
area.
an artificer, not an alchemist.
He just stuffed
Or
it
are
into his
they the
overall pockets.
same?
All of it as he runs through.
That's how we follow him. He has a trail of kale.
No, well, for the second part of that, though, too, I mean, at least for my characters, what future they see in the Hollow, they're just kind of, they travel right now. They haven't had a home for a long time. One of them doesn't feel like she can go back home right now. And the other one, I don't know that she feels like she fits into either one of them or ever has. So, and probably less so now. Maybe more in the dwarvish community now than she did before, but less in the orcish community. So I don't know that either one of them really see the Hollow as home. They just care and love so many different people there that they just want them to be happy so she can feel okay. Both of them can feel okay about moving on to whatever's bigger and better
It's
next.
like, check, we made this place a better place. Now let's move on.
Now let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's
about it.
Your
for
guys'
Boudreaux.
stuff. Now we're out.
Peace.
Yeah, because I'm only there for like now.
We're transients.
I
you know,
mean,
the both of us.
none of us have
Yeah.
really been there that long. I mean, Roscoe's been there for 6 months, up to the point where we left in episode, 6 or whatever it was. Roscoe had only been in the Hollow for 6 months. So, I mean, yeah, he knows people there. He's got friends there. And he's attached to it. It's a place that's, made him feel welcome, but it's not like it's, his home. And so, he's there to help, move it along. But
You
ultimately,
did
thinks-
say that it was one of the places he felt comfortable and safe and home-like,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, well,
in the
absolutely. I mean, because
Hollow.
Roscoe, he's done some traveling and stuff, and he's been in some places where it's not been quite so friendly. But that's what made Hayden's Hollow stand out to him a little bit. Is nobody judged him. Everybody's a refugee there, and in his mind, he's kind of a refugee himself. Not in the terms of, oh, my home's been burned down and I don't have anywhere else to go. I'm going to go here, but it's nobody else. Everywhere he's gone, he's been judged up to this point because he's a halfling trying to learn, stuff that typically comes with, humans or elves or orcs or things like that. So,
All right, next question. Angela H. from our Facebook fan page asked, I like behind-the-scenes stuff. So are there any pre-game rituals you or the other players have that could be fun? Or things that and what things have you learned because of running a podcast?
Oh, learning the podcast gig was a difficult.
Because none of us knew like anything. We had friends that knew stuff, and we had podcasts that we really liked that we wanted to like sort of take certain elements from because it worked really well and we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been making sure that everything was set up correctly because one of the biggest things when we started was sound quality and family friendly, of course. But the sound quality thing is just like, well, if we're going to do this, we have to invest in this, we have to invest in this, we have to do all this setup for the podcast. And it's really helped us grow in the technological world to learn how to edit things, especially Zeb's been taking on the editing, which he's done amazing. And I mean, he's never done it before. I've dabbled it with a little bit in college, but that was about it. And trying to, what's gain? What's this? What's that?
And I've tackled the social media world, which has been a learning experience too. That's been
I didn't realize how
crazy.
important networking was. I think that's one of the biggest things is networking, because that's even helped me in my normal job as an electrician, is networking with other people, like-minded people, to further advance your skills.
Right. And I'm a communication major, so it sort of came into what I'm studying, but it was a whole nother thing to get hands-on experience. What about our pregame rituals?
I know before we didn't have any like rituals or anything, but we'd sit and talk for like an hour and a half or so before we actually started.
Wasted a whole session.
Which now that we actually have, as funny as it is, we're on timers now. Like we got, okay, once everybody gets here, we have 20 minutes before we start. So I guess that's kind of like a little pregame ritual. We get all our wiggles out, do a little
wiggles.
dance.
We usually sing a song.
Oh, yeah. I
There's lots
can't
of
tell you
songs.
how many
Lots of
like
songs.
cut songs Elsie and I have sung, like in our.
I think that's probably Elsie's pregame ritual. Is there's always at least one
Well,
song.
you guys are always talking about like football and like all this stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna sing. So
I mean, before the podcast, we're all friends. I mean, and so
Yes.
you know, sometimes we're getting together only once a month just because of life. You know, half of us have kids. We've all got full-time jobs. You know, we've got things going on outside the podcast. So I mean, a lot of it for us is getting together and just catching up. I mean, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with some of these guys here about this week's episode of Star Wars, or you know, Boba Fett, or you know, whatever's coming up this week, or you know, what we did, and you know, stuff. So it's just, I think that's a lot of it for us, as well as just that opportunity to
or just stuff. Yeah.
unwind a little bit and
It's our sort of escapism.
freedom
right.
and the food.
And food. We have potluck every time we meet.
I guess that's kind of a ritual thing, right? We
Oh,
get
yeah, we
together.
fought.
and-
It's our mid game ritual.
I didn't
Yeah.
We
realize.
usually record an episode and then we'll feast.
I didn't realize before we started doing the podcast though, like how much we actually ate, like during D&D, until we're like, nope, we can't do it until specific times. And I'm like,
Like, but the food smells so
all I
good.
want to do is just always eat.
She's always munching. Yeah, that's what we do when we don't record, is just always have something munching on, especially drinks. I remember when we
Oh yeah.
I'm really bad at this one. I'm really
all
bad
about
at
to
this
go there.
one.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to open or have beverages unless it's got a straw. Because I just sit there and I go,
Not only that, it goes.
Every time.
just like that. So I've been banned from certain things. Sorry.
Just during recording.
the mic etiquette too, right? You have to be
We've
close,
learned so much. Yeah.
close to the mic, and I never realized how loud I breathe.
Me too.
Zeb, I'm sure, can attest. He's like,
Yeah. There's a lot of little things like with the editing that you get. Like some people swallow really loud too.
ooh,
And so
Tell
the
us,
mic,
who?
even if we're that close up to the mic, like the mic will pick that up. So sometimes I've got to look and kind of re-edit that. David mentioned the breathing. Like
or
even
us loud laughers over here.
Right. The loud laughter. Sometimes
That
people
would be
have
all
like
the
small
girls
ticks to where they like tap the table, or like I shake my leg a lot, and sometimes even that can kind of
That
get in
doesn't-
because it starts shaking like the mic and everything like that. So trying to learn to adjust with some of those things, and that's just what I pick up when I'm recording. It's been interesting.
When you have pull-out tables on Lifetime tables when you're
Plastic.
recording on, you know,
They make-
you hear a lot of things.
Yeah, well, and that's
Echo.
something else too. Like a lot of people who do D&B podcasts and stuff like that, they still sit around one table. We have like four different tables that we sit at.
Not like we have 4 different tables.
Okay, we have 4 tables and then one
In the center.
So
It's got all the doodads on it.
yeah,
So it's 5 tables.
yeah, that's a lot to work around too.
But
just out of swinging distance, so if somebody gets mad, they can't hit the other person.
Well, at first it was COVID distance.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah,
But that's why Zeb's at his own table, is because we're really scared of him. Yeah. And David.
He also has the smallest table. Something we're also all very religious. If you've listened to the What We Are About episode, we also pray before we record. It helps calm our nerves and just helps us get in the right headspace.
It definitely helps me.
It helps
to be
me
like,
too.
Okay, we're doing this for fun. We're doing this for a purpose to bring family-friendly content in a world that doesn't necessarily believe in family-friendly content.
Yeah.
That does.
Well, I think,
But we have found a lot of
hard.
family-friendly people out there.
Yes.
Woo,
Yeah.
shout out to our fans.
Whoop, whoop.
Were you going to say something, Becky?
No, I was just gonna say it's not necessarily as family friendly. It's just hard to find that content out there because there's a lot of things that everybody finds differently that's entertaining. But I mean, a couple
We're
of us have
all divided into factions. There's
Yeah.
like kid friendly, and then there's like mid kid friendly, like the older
older
kids.
kids.
And then it jumps to everybody, which is what we're trying to hit, like 8 and up. And then there's adult, and that adult content is like growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just like, what about everybody? We want to watch something with our kids because it's not like we have a lot of adult time where we can just watch adult shows.
That's true. I don't know the last time that I watched an adult show that one of my kids was like, "Ugh, can I change this?" No, do you know how much I've watched for you? Just
Give me this 20 minutes,
Right?
please. Yeah.
Our little daughter, Mary, would just always go, Coco Melon.
Coco Melon.
we don't watch Coco Melon.
No.
anymore.
Can Daddy watch his Star Wars, please? Without being interrupted, please.
Every 2 seconds.
Yeah, no. And ours is like, when we put in Star Wars, it's like, oh, again.
It's true.
It's true.
R2D tour. But Elsie and I'm sure a few of the others have really good memories of watching movies with the family and then discussing it afterwards and like making analogies and all sorts of things. We did that a ton, Elsie and I, growing
each
up.
other characters.
Oh, we would. We'd
I was
assign
always
each other characters.
The flirty short one is what usually was, That's usually what I was.
Sound like Boudreaux, anybody?
Like, what's the guy from Hercules?
Phil.
I was Phil, and then the candle from Beauty and the
Lumiere.
Beast, and like all of those. That's
we
the
would,
characters I
we would
received.
assign each other characters. We would even sometimes role play, like with toys and stuff. So awkward.
Our
Fact
kids do
about
that,
us.
though. Like, they do that for, like, the kid shows and whatnot. Like, they watch, what's the one? They,
Playing Bluey just
oh,
yesterday.
yeah, they're playing
Bluey.
Bluey. And, like,
Yeah.
Sunny
Our
Bunny.
kids
They're
like
like,
that.
this is me. And they sign, like, each of us in the house a different bunny. And then they're like, oh, look what Dad did. And I was like, oh, your dad's not even, oh, you're talking about
Blah.
Okay, on to the next question.
Hang on, I got one pregame
Oh,
ritual here.
yeah.
So every time before, like I have like 4 or 5 different sets of like plastic dice that I have.
yeah.
And so I always pull out one and I roll the D20. And if it rolls bad, then I get another set out just to make sure that I'm rolling well before we start playing.
That's true.
Maybe I should do
do
that.
that.
Except for I think I'd curse all my dice. Just saying. No dice rolls well for me. Anyway,
Those who've been following the podcast, you know that Henley doesn't roll very well. That's not just Henley. That's Abby.
that's me.
altogether. Every character
Any
that she
game I
has.
play in, that's me. That I always roll.
Everybody we play with,
horrible.
here, use these dice, and same thing.
Well, and the
We've
thing
given
was,
her
when
dice,
they
too.
would roll them after that, they would never roll well. I am the dice cursor. Also, I forgot another thing we do. We do a mic check, which kind of goes into
Yes.
both of those questions. And sometimes we come up with really funny stuff in our mic checks.
That's where a lot of the songs tend to come from.
yeah.
I don't do
don't-
anything funny.
I
in
always
my
have a
checks that I
potty
don't
break
do.
before we start.
TMI, LC, TMI. Just kidding.
Actually, I have like one after every single session.
Because you drink lots of water.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. So it's from Jonathan and Jessica at Mythical Mystery Games on Twitter. They ask how much plot or story arc is planned by the DM ahead of time. I know people often prefer less railroaded campaigns to play in, but do you still feel that way when it comes to producing podcasts?
Yeah, David, how do you feel?
I know when I first started, like 5 years ago. Has it been 5 years, 6 years, give or take?
5, because Linda's almost 5.
Okay. So about 5 years ago, I was very railroady because I was just like, I need you guys to do this because I want this to happen. Wait, no. Hey, no, back over here, and trying to get all the players back over there. But definitely with the podcast, I've learned to just let things go. That's been one of the hardest things for me because I've spent so much time and effort planning out the plot.
He has like 30 pages of notes.
I do. I over-plan things a lot, but I've definitely scaled back the last couple times that we've recorded because I realize even though I have something planned,
we're not going to follow it.
Exactly. But it's like, I don't have to use it now. I can use it later. I can throw it in later. My players will never know that this was supposed to happen. They do something else. Okay, I'll just sit on this and I'll throw it in later. That's one thing I really like about being the DM is that I can
recycle stuff.
I can, and the players will never know. You guys know now, but the
we'll
plot
still never know when it happens.
Exactly. You'll never know when it was supposed to be, but it was meant to be.
So to that question, no, he has stuff planned, but it's not railroady here.
But on top of that, I do have an overall arch. How we get to from A to B, I don't know. It really dictates on the decisions of the players. I try and focus on their needs, what kind of game they want to play, and I sprinkle in plot points to get us on that track.
David is like a master of foreshadowing. If you're caught up and want to start re-listening, you will see the build up. It is really cool. I just re-listened to the episodes, even though I used to help with the editing process. I don't anymore. But like re-listening, I'm like, oh my gosh, David was hinting at this, and oh my goodness, just my mind was blown.
And a lot of those are accidental too. That's what's wonderful.
Well,
I'm a genius.
One great thing.
Exactly, I do that. I'm like, yes, I'm so smart.
One great thing about recording your sessions DMs out there, you can go back and re-listen and like, ooh, I said this. Now I can tie in this plot point later on.
Yeah, because we started recording our sessions just on like a little recorder prior to even doing the podcast, just because it was easier that way for David. He's like, okay, what was said? Did I actually say that, or did I just think that really, really hard?
It also really helps you become a better DM because you actually hear what you do.
Right. There's been a lot of things I've been like, I shouldn't have done that. Let's redo it. Because a lot of times, DMs, this is a good, and even players, be okay with your mistakes. Be okay with your flaws. Because they're just building points. They don't make you any better or worse. There's just something you got to focus on and be better at.
I have something to say about that. Mm-hmm. So you've all listened to Henley during the tournament, right? Well, we recorded most of that all in one night. And that's like 4 or 5 critical fails. That was really, really hard for me. I was having a bad mental health day, and it just threw me over the edge. And as a person, I really like to be helpful, and I wasn't the opposite of helpful that night. It made for really great entertainment afterwards, but during that session was so hard. And David and I did not want to listen to those episodes. No, that was the previous.
I don't know.
It was those episodes.
I don't think any of us wanted to listen to those episodes for some time.
We were so overcome with our failure.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was perfectly fine because I was like,
wow.
I did.
Okay.
I was just flirting with Elsie over here. So.
Episode 25, 26, and 27 that just dropped. Like, those were hard episodes.
For us as people. Like, it was just really hard.
Because like it didn't turn out how we did, but
you learn from it, and you roll on. And I think that's one of the things that Dave does really, really well is he adapts. And one of the funnest things I like to do at the end is just converse, or even if it's over the next couple days after we were done recording, is just talk to him about how things went and how he thinks the session went, because it's fun to hear.
Yeah.
I had 15 pages of notes, and we went through 3, and you guys were supposed to go right, and you went left and then backwards some, but that's okay. We're going to make it work, and so, part of, I think, and I see it with Dave a lot, is that communication with your players and that adaptability. If we've ever had issues, I know there's one particular thing just recently in the tournament that I was a little disgruntled about, because Dave's always open for those communication. We sat down and I said, hey, look, why didn't this happen? Because I'd asked about it a couple times. I'd done all this
when you were
work.
talking, when Roscoe was talking to the Duke.
Yeah, when Roscoe was making his little plea to the Duke and stuff, and
He wanted to roll dice so bad.
I really wanted to roll because I hadn't rolled for a minute, and I was trying to, I was doing this really emotional speech, and I was like, Dave's like, no. And we moved on, and I'm like, why couldn't I even roll? But he explained
Well, and I think you pre-rolled, and you rolled really high.
I did pre-roll. I rolled a 19. I was like, that's a good roll. Come on, let me use it.
Right, and I do want to give you guys that opportunities to roll, and I've been trying to do that more. And so the audience knows, because I know we talked about it, the reason why I didn't have Roscoe roll to persuade the Duke is because I had already decided the Duke is not going to go with it.
He don't care.
He don't care. And so that was hard for me, because I was just like, you could see the players like, please let this work. Please let this work. And in my mind,
I'm running out of options here.
Yeah.
But I mean, and so just things like that, it's great to know that, because I do a lot of Redditing. I'm on Reddit a lot. I'm on multiple.
A lot.
Between
He's always sending us in our chat.
Reddit and TikTok, I follow like 3 dozen different subreddits or TikTokers and stuff, all about Dungeons and Dragons. And there's a lot of people out there right now complaining that, well, my DM doesn't explain, he doesn't listen, he doesn't do this, or vice versa for the players. The players have to be just as respectable. It's a game, and that's at the end of the day, it's a game.
Well,
Yeah, you
and
gotta remember
this
that, but you
game is
gotta-
all about communication.
Yeah, exactly.
If you have a problem or a question, talk to your DM, please, because they're like, oh, I didn't realize, or here's the reason why.
Welcome to every sort of healthy
Life.
relationship you'll ever have in the rest of your life.
Preach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Triple check.
The cool thing about the Duke thing is that it may not have worked out, but David didn't just block us off after that. He gave us doorways, multiple actually, to go through.
Yeah, that's
He
what
didn't
those
just block
the next 4 episodes are going to be about.
And they're intense.
Oh my.
Back to that.
Drama.
Back to that question though. I think that not necessarily super railroady campaigns, but you can also give your players a gentle nudge. There's options, and you can throw okay, well, this is plan A, this is plan B. I can throw both of them in front of them, and if they go in plan C, cool. I can just decide to nudge them in a certain way that's still going to benefit them later on or get me where I need them to go.
And if you're anything like me, a couple nudges might actually let the light bulb go off.
Yeah.
Light bulb.
A couple angry texts. Elsie!
I get those quite often. Why didn't you heal me? I didn't
Oh yeah, we all like to tease Elsie that she's the cleric, but she doesn't heal.
I'm not good at hint dropping. Just tell me.
That's okay. I'm the barbarian that doesn't know how to barbarian abuse.
When you say ouch, that hurt, and you look at the cleric,
And she
and
goes,
she's like, can I poison someone? And you're like, oh, that's not what I said, but okay, go for
sure,
it.
yeah.
You do you.
So, we'll do this question next. This is from Isaac from Drawings and Dragons on Twitter, who did our lovely fan art of Solemn the Chaos Bard. And he asked, how did you all get into Dungeons and Dragons?
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I can tell you this, David and I started this role, at least for the group here.
Yeah, for the majority. We started with a bunch of Abby's friends
Yeah, from high school.
about 5 years ago.
Yeah. And we fell in love with it. And then about a year later, David started Dungeons and Dragons in Kel F.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's when I started. Was when he started that very first campaign. That's when I played my first character.
We've
Very
actually
short-lived.
started to meet some of those characters, which has been fun.
Yeah, it has been.
Mara was my first character in Keleth.
I'm not sure we're going to meet mine because the campaign actually ended after he died. So
Some really intense stuff.
Also, name dropped Drusilla was
He
another.
was also in that first. Which that episode is coming up.
It's coming.
My not necessarily with D&D, but just like in player or in person role playing stuff. Was
I
probably
nagged her
when I
a
was
lot.
little. No, I mean, so like when I was little, my sister, my oldest sister's like 12 years older than me. So my oldest sister was married to a guy whose cousin used to come over, and I used to babysit their kids while they were doing their role play game. And when I just sat down one time and was like, I'm gonna be an elf, and so they made me an elf, and I just remember that I was stuck in a prison cell and broke my arm trying to clothesline some dude, and that was like my first introduction to like I had no idea how the game worked because I was like 12.
Yeah.
And that was like my first actual experience with that type of stuff. But my sisters and her husband at the time also worked up at a medieval reenactment. So I kind of got that a little bit too. So it's a little bit different, but still.
That's like
Brought that,
live
and then I
action
came-
role play LARPing.
Yeah, that is. But then I came and I sat with probably like 5 or 6 sessions with you guys before.
It took a lot of convincing.
Took a lot.
The only reason I even started playing was because Evan had forgot his character sheet at home, and he'd ran home to go get it. And then they're like, "Do you want to just create a character?"
I want you to know that there was some evil maniacal planning between Abby
probably.
and I.
I'm sure.
So much. I
We
hate
had
dropped
discussed
so
multiple
much.
times that we needed to get you involved.
Yeah, and then David ended up not liking that character very much because he found her soapbox.
I'm just not a very confrontational person, and that character was just always in my face. And I was like,
She was
Give
the
me a break,
epitome
Becky.
of a devil's advocate.
It's
It
true.
didn't matter what it was. She would play the opposite.
Well, and a lot of the time with that particular character, it didn't matter what she believed because she was all about the pursuit of knowledge. So it was, why do you believe that? So I'm going to take the opposite stance. So that way you have to think about why you believe that. That way I can figure it out.
It was fun, but challenging.
And I'm sure it was really challenging. And if we'd ever gotten farther with that particular character outside of that, probably the soapbox would have been dropped real quick.
it was definitely growing in a and that is
In a
one thing.
peculiar sort of way.
That is one thing that I really enjoy about Dungeons and Dragons is seeing the character growth. Like seeing you guys from where you were episode 1 and all the little information we knew about your characters to now. It's an amazing growth, and seeing the different characteristics that you guys wanted to focus on actually coming out.
To piggyback on that is another question from Isaac. How do you all go about coming up with your characters?
I never got an
think-
answer.
Sorry.
I also would like to answer that.
Elsie, go ahead, Evan. Sorry.
I started playing D&D in high school, but okay, sorry, I'll stop being aggressive. But
All right, Boudreaux, calm down.
with my friends, but I was like nervous about it, and it was just when you roleplay, a lot of you comes out that people don't see.
Or that you don't even know sometimes.
Yeah. But so I started with my friends, but I really did start playing with Abby and David in a family campaign. So not with these lovely people, but me, David, and my
And we started
Abby
off with
family.
Mines of Fandelver. It was
Yes.
fun.
Yeah.
That was actually my jump into DMing for the family campaign.
Yeah.
Because I was creating the Friends campaign. I just needed to try this out first, see if I like it.
Yeah. So that's how I started D&D.
And
Now
like,
we can go.
we were all friends except for Elsie, who was family, but I had never met Elsie prior to. No, I think I met you once. Like in
don't
passing.
remember this.
That's not saying much. You don't remember a lot of things.
Yeah.
Nancy.
It was true.
Pre-mission, so.
So, Evan.
So I'm a little bit of a tricky story. I started when they started Kaleth 4 or 5 years ago.
Correct, yeah.
But
Yeah, you had the beginning with the tournament.
I did a couple rounds there, but life was just hectic in work and stuff. And so I kind of dropped out of that one. And then I started their next campaign. When that one ended, we started another one. And that's where my new character, or my old character, Jakaris, was started. And you hear about him throughout this one. And even then, I didn't make all the sessions. But this one, I mean, I'm proud to say that I've really enjoyed this session, and I've been here, and I'm glad that I can make it work.
We're happy too, even though you're late every time.
Not every time. There was one time where we were the first ones here. Thank you.
One time.
That's off guard. We're like,
Oh, we didn't expect you so early.
Yeah.
We gotta
Like,
hurry
hey,
and get
it's
things
2
done.
o'clock and they're here. What
Really?
is this?
We set the time early. They come on time. But now they know, so...
We'll have you know that it's like always the children as we're trying to leave for like 25 minutes out the door.
That's just children.
And there's usually a train.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Sometimes there's a train.
We were ready today to walk out the door at 1:40. My parents were there. We're ready. I'd already loaded stuff into the car. And the next thing you know, they're all independently going up to mom one at a time.
Yeah.
And saying, can I have a sandwich?
After I put all the stuff away each time, like I'll
So
make one
like
sandwich,
Reagan went up,
throw it
our
away.
oldest went up, and she's like, can I have a sandwich? And so they pulled the stuff out and they made the sandwich, and I'm sitting there like, we gotta go. And then they put the stuff away, and then Thea's like, I want a sandwich too. And she's our middle, and so they did that, and then our youngest, our 3-year-old, was like, I want a sandwich, and so Becky made him a sandwich, and she's like, no, I want a piece of ham, and then he ended up wanting a hot dog. So
And so it
and I'm just like, we gotta go.
And that's pretty much like what I was saying during the entire time I was making sandwiches. Like, I don't have time for this, guys. I gotta leave. Grandma and Papa are here. You can ask them for food. They'll get you food. It's not like you're starving. Yeah. That's what happens every single time.
Okay, we're going to go around the table and do this next question. Last one from Isaac. What was all your favorite moments so far? And I just want one moment. One moment.
I've got mine.
Okay.
My favorite moment was with Fenrir writing the letter to Willow.
Oh, yes.
That was so beautiful. I didn't expect it to be so amazing. So thank you. That was my favorite.
Fenrir still has that letter, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I know it has not been
Boudreaux
sent.
doesn't know, but thank you.
I think my favorite moment is with Robert. And you guys are trying to explain
I
who
love Robert.
Oh, my gosh.
explain who Lila Garotha is.
Oh yeah,
That's probably one of
I
my
had so
favorite
much fun
roleplay
with
moments.
that.
That was beautiful. We were so sad when we listened back to the recording and it's like, couldn't hear David. We're like, no.
Oh, my cable went out. That was probably one of my favorite moments.
Okay, my favorite moment is from the episodes we recorded last time when David was playing an NPC and he was flirting with Henley. And
That was great.
okay, my husband does not flirt very well in the first place. So the fact that he was flirting with my character was like so awkward, not just because I was Henley, but like because he just doesn't flirt in that way. And it's hilarious.
I've seen Dave flirt many times.
Well, he
It's
flirts with
Curtis.
yes.
One of our other friends.
I'm better at
Yeah.
flirting with men.
It's true.
It's because you know that nothing's going to happen there. Nothing's going to be taken.
That's right.
Who's Curtis?
He's a friend of ours.
A high school
Long
friend.
From
time
high school.
Yeah.
junior high friend.
Zebediah?
So my favorite moment probably would be Fenrir staying at the top of the Ankeg layer.
I was so mad.
Letting the
We were
drama
all
kinda
so
play out
mad.
there.
Yes.
It also kind of plays into the very first question that was asked is if I could go back and do something. I had a thought later on after we were there. I was like, man, I should have had Fenrir use his bow to take out some of the smaller creatures in there. And so some of them would have been falling and maybe as a foreshadowing to that. But that was probably my
Well,
favorite
and the
part so
thing
far.
is none of
Dude.
us knew that he was actually going to come back. So when he came back, it was literally like, I
was so happy at that
we were
point, but I was so mad.
excited.
I'm still mad.
And it's been part of the campaign all the time, right?
Yeah.
Everybody says like, well, you always disappear.
No, everybody always disappears.
Everybody, you're right.
But yeah, we
Everybody
can't use that
disappears.
anymore against Henley.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Everybody disappears,
I
not just
still
me.
hold
Mine was
firm.
just the most dramatic and traumatic.
Run away. I've never run away.
You did.
I have
this
walked
last
away
time.
and left a trail of where I was at. You just run away. All of you.
I think the closest that
Oh my gosh,
That-
be dramatic.
the closest that Boudreaux's ever ran away is when he, after the morning after you were drunk, he went after.
Oh
Lila.
yeah, went to go find Lila.
Okay, never mind. You have a point.
I think that's the only.
But he
time
was
that-
on the look, like he was looking for somebody.
He did tell
No,
you guys where
but
I'm
you're
going to go
right.
find Lila.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Never
communicated.
mind. I'm right. Yeah.
I don't have a favorite spot. I don't have one.
Is it
Oh
when-
no, I do. I do.
dang it.
So
Is it the carrot?
no, maybe Lila's, but not mine. No, mine is actually the skunk story. But everybody's like awkward reaction to that. That was an awesome introduction to I think to Lila and her background. I love that.
I think that's like episode 1 or 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode
Really,
one.
really.
I was like, and I remember saying, David, can I tell a story? And he's like, sure. And then they had no idea what was gonna happen. And that's when
She's like, oh yeah.
Evan, did you say one?
No, not yet. I'm trying to think. I mean, I've got a couple of them, but I think the most entertaining for me, at least, was when we were doing the.
the back and forth.
No, well, I mean, yes, the banter with Robert about who Lila Groth is definitely up there. But I think the one that just is character development that I've really enjoyed is the fight with the goblins when we were escorting the horses.
Yes.
Just because I was learning my character still there, in his subclass and everything a little bit, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, and I blew up half the army.
Oh, that was amazing. And the solemn and Quill scene after that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, still one of my favorites.
That was a fun one to
It was
record.
fun.
I was so
Oh, that
mad
one.
about that because of that's the one of the few times where I was like, I need to get something long range for my character. I'm useless.
Can't do anything.
I mean, you could have just done what I
Just
did.
trust your ranger and fighter, okay?
Jump off a horse and hope you
I know,
catch
but you
'em.
know me. I gotta interject
yeah.
myself in everything.
True. Okay, next question. Why do you create content? What drives you? So we kind of talk about this in what we're about, but we'll reiterate.
And even we talked about it a little bit during
Oh,
this.
and this question is from Jacob from Nunya, USA.
Well, lovely place. Lovely place.
We should visit sometime.
The biggest reason is just to get family-friendly content out there. And because we love doing this. It doesn't feel like a job. This is something that it gives us an excuse to come together as friends and just play. And it's just a bonus that we get to record it and share it with everybody.
Because, yes, we could just get around the table and meet every week, but we also love spreading our creative wings and learning new skills. It's been an adventure and really life-changing almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Let me-
Zeb.
I was waiting to go around the table, but
sorry.
I'll just jump in.
Just jump in, Zeb. That's what the rest of us are doing.
So as far as why do I create it? We've alluded to it as far as the family friendly stuff, but it's amazing and how it's translated with what we've done here and communication and just understanding people. What I've been able to translate into my job as a physical therapist, and as well as it really is just it's something to put on the calendar that you kind of look forward to each month. That we get to come together as friends and kind of hang out and just have a good time.
We find out things about each other that we didn't know otherwise. I don't know how long it would have taken us to find out that you were dating somebody and then married somebody.
Still wouldn't know.
Also, Zeb sort of alluded to this, but podcasting and Dungeons and Dragons in general has helped us grow and teach us how to be better people and especially better communicators.
Yeah, because especially like I think recording that's something that we've had to do more because we have to work more with theater of the mind. We can't really do a whole lot physically here because we have to make sure that everybody understands it.
Yeah, we can't do
coming through
minis
here.
because we'd be getting up and down and the chair noise would be ridiculous.
Well, and then we just end up saying, and I want to move it there, or I want to protect this
Right.
one. And then they would have no idea. The listeners would have no idea what's going on, really.
Wait, where did they move?
Yeah. So,
Tony Stark, if you're out there, we need a holographic table, please.
yeah. Can I have a
that'd be
Jarvis?
nice.
That'd be great.
That'd be fantastic.
Everyone good with that question?
Yep.
Okay. Around the table, who is your favorite NPC?
Willow.
Well, that's good.
Mine is Crazy Miss Gronquist, like going back and forth between the two. That's my favorite because I love to watch David switch between the two. And like the first time he's like, it's so hard to play this. I was like what? Like two different people, David? Yeah. No. And I just loved how easy he flipped it too. But I think that also speaks to how good of an actor David can be.
Thank you.
Because
Yes.
as somebody who plays two different people, sometimes it's not easy to do that. Oh, Evan's thinking.
He's got his thinking fingers.
I'll jump in
tapping
here.
on
I'm
his
debating
lips.
between two. I actually am kind of a fan of Mendrick, and his story, it seems like, is I don't know if it's wrapping up or we're getting to a point, but he's been one of my favorite NPCs, as well as the name is just Robert.
Yeah.
I love Bumpkin.
I'm going to have to go with Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Robert.
I'm sorry, Robert. But Mara, I'm biased. I do really love Mara too, but I played her in another campaign. So
Yeah. Robert would be mine too. I just love playing Robert. He's just so much fun. I know originally Abby did not.
Oh,
like
I
Robert.
hated Robert. David would practice the voice at night reading stories to our kids, and I'm like, don't do that again. I hate that.
I don't think you hated Robert so much as just the voice for him.
The voice for Robert. Thank you. But the characterization of Robert sold me on the voice.
Well, I recorded you when he was playing Robert. We might have to
That's
release
just-
those with it because you can see it in her face. She's like, "I'm gonna die right now."
I also took my shirt and covered my head.
A couple of times, yep. And like when you play Robert, you just bounce every single time.
Yeah, he's bouncing in his chair.
But I think that's part of it, just getting into the character because like the rhythm of his voice and whatnot. But yeah, it's great.
Definitely helps doing some kind of action. I'm one that likes to talk with my hands. And it's been hard not to be having a mic in front of my face. I can't talk with my hands very well because you'll be hitting it.
It's true.
Yeah.
But like with the voice acting and stuff like that, like if you watch like when they record and stuff like that, they get so into character still. So that's great.
It's fun.
Another question from Koldick Steelskin on Twitter, because I don't think I said his name. Who would you love to kill in your D&D world?
I did not.
Anybody. I'm a barbarian outside of the group, and sometimes Garatha wants to kill Boudreaux just to simply because Lila has a crush on him and she wants to get rid of that. So
Get rid of the distraction.
But you don't know
yeah,
that.
but she doesn't ever work on it. No, it's fine. Just sometimes, like when you don't wash your hands, it's fine.
I'm gonna kill you. I think the Duke is probably on my list.
Yeah, the
You want to kill the Duke?
The Duke.
Okay.
Mendrick.
I'm trying to think who's wronged me. Someone like on the street or
Your
something.
dad.
Like that.
It's Garatha.
No, I don't want to kill my dad.
No, the guy that like kind of was rude to you about the bathhouse.
Yeah, let's kill him.
That poor tavern keeper.
Yeah, I was just dead.
Yeah, he'll come back in another life as a bug. It's fine.
Yeah,
Or won't.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Zebediah?
I'm trying to think. The only person coming to my mind at the moment is the second robber.
Oh, the robber that was behind Boudreaux.
We had the little gnome robber that ended up.
Was he a gnome? I thought the first
The
one
guy
was a
supposed to
gnome.
be that ended up dying, and then there was another robber
ran
there
away.
also who was
Oh yeah, he got away.
Who kind of like, I kind of picture him as like he's like the leader guy of that, and the gnome was just kind of like his second-hand man, and so that whole maybe situation could have been avoided with him just
Being taken
dying, I guess. But it's brought along a really good story arc as well. So I'm not. So it's kind of cool.
Another question from Coldic Skin. One thing you would like to change about your character, if there is anything.
My constant crush on Boudreaux.
Sorry, that was really loud.
But I can't change it now, so I'm dedicated.
Why would you want to get rid of that?
It's entertaining, but at the same time, sometimes it's awkward flirting with you.
What?
I don't know if there's anything I'd change about Henley. I just wish I could sometimes play Henley a little better. Like, I'm generally like a leader type person and take charge, and Henley, though she has that potential, is not that person right now. But sometimes I get into my Abby head and not my Henley head. So
along those same lines,
No, after you.
it's the same thing with Fenrir and myself. Like, I actually partially picked Fenrir, and because I'm trying to be more, I guess, open in communication and coming up with things like kind of on the spot, because I tend to withdraw and just think about things more so, and I'm trying to be more like Fenrir in the regards of just trying to say, like, just going with things off the cuff and things like that. And so I wish I could play that better with Fenrir and get that across just for him as a character.
I know that's one of the things that Evan and I were talking about when you just said you were going to play a bard. I was like, how's Evan going to play a bard?
like, how?
Right?
Like, is he just going to be more like a scribe and then like rarely share stories? Because there are those type of bards too, but their big thing is performing.
I do wish that he would have kept his voice though.
That was so great.
I was like, yes. Oh, dang it.
My favorite part of Zeb's Bardom is trying to guess where his references are coming from.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is fun.
And I love the fact that you don't play your typical bard.
Yeah.
I love that you are more of the storyteller and stuff like that, rather than let's just sing and dance all the time. Because that's awesome. But I love the fact that you're just like, let me tell you this
That's
awesome
not
story.
what your typical bard is, but this is a family-friendly show.
No, but I mean, like when you're
Sing,
Are
dance,
you
and
talking
romance.
about
think about it,
Dungeons and Dragons typical bard or a bard in IRL?
yeah, no, not like a real life bard or like the ones that you see played in like movies and stuff like that. But when you think of a D&D type of bard, most of the time it's a lot of, here, let me get an instrument and let me sing for you, or let me entertain you that way. His is like, oh, let me tell you this awesome story.
Yes.
And then if an instrument is needed, I can add it in. But yeah.
I do really like that.
I think for me, for Roscoe, really the only thing I would change is hammering down how I wanted to play my character. Because in the beginning, I had something set up and I was playing it this way and stuff. And then out of the blue, luckily, I have a very generous DM who allowed me to make some altercations and stuff. So it changed things, but it made it, and I wouldn't change it. I love the way I'm playing him and stuff, but it would, starting from beginning, and learning from the start how to play that character and stuff. But Roscoe's Roscoe. Let's go.
I mean, my character was supposed to be completely different, and David told me no a lot, and I was like, okay, fine, we'll land on this.
That communication, right?
Yeah.
Trying to understand where both of us was coming from.
She was supposed to be a lot more crazy murder hobo, but
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not having a murder hobo.
he's like, I'm not really comfortable with this, but we can do this instead. I'm like, all right,
Okay.
we'll do it. And I was mad about it for a minute, but Evan can tell you that. But I really like her now.
Good. Yeah, I don't think I would change. I was trying to think of something I would change for Boudreaux, but honestly, I really love Boudreaux. And like,
fun.
the only thing I can even think of, and I still can't say I want to change it, is sometimes with this cooking, I have no idea what I'm doing. And so it's like, it's kind of hard, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. Mm-hmm. I just wish I could do it better. So
One of those things, like you have this character that has amazing stats,
yeah.
but then you're like, I can't play a person with intelligence of 20. I can't do.
That's my charisma and why I never use it. I actually have a really good charisma, but I'm not charismatic.
Yeah.
I'm just bad at everything. The dice fail me every time.
No matter. Yeah.
Okay, another question from Coldic Steelskin. What magic item would you give your character? I'm quite partial to bags of holding, but a really fancy bow would be nice too. Or a fancy quiver that, like, unlimited arrows, but it also
It's
once
called
a
the
day
Legolas
gives you
quiver.
that once a day maybe gives you like a special ability. That would be cool.
I'm thinking, I don't know magical items that well, but I was thinking something with a gator would be really nice. Or something like I could poison people. Oh, yeah.
Maybe like a gator figurine that you throw it at people and it like clamps onto their head.
Gator ninja stars.
They just clamp on.
So it's like covered in little gator bites.
And then I'll be like, see you later, gator. Anyway, let's go to someone else.
Zeb, how about you over there?
I forgot the question.
Magical items.
Magical items.
Item of your-
Yes. So for me, it would have to do something with like a dragon. Like some sort of mystical creature, like something that could like summon a dragon or
It makes sense considering you asked one time if your mount could be a dragon.
yeah, or like have a mount like a small mounting dragon. I've actually been looking through Fizbane's and there actually is a ranger character that actually can summon a dragon, and so
Yeah.
that's probably gonna be my next character or something like that.
Specifically for that end goal.
Yep.
Give me my dragon.
So if it had to be a magical item, it would be maybe it'd be something that was imbued with like a dragon's
Soul.
either flame that I could use or like or maybe some sort of like armor that was made out of like dragon that was able to turn me into like a dragon egg or something to have my AC skyrocket or something like that. I don't
That'd be
know.
cool.
Let's
Something
just
like that.
Interesting.
make him a wizard. Dragon heartstring core wand. We got you.
There you
Done.
go.
11 and a half inches long.
And surprisingly swishy.
Made of hardwood.
Squishy hardwood.
No, swishy.
Swishy.
Oh, swishy. I thought you said
As in
squishy.
swish and
I
play.
was like a squishy, like he's flying around with a noodle wand.
It's like a floppy noodle.
I got to do this at the right time or something very bad were going to happen.
Gosh.
Oh, it's a cursed one. That's why it does
First one. Super powerful.
You use it
but
one
very,
time and it turns into a little noodle.
Very hard to aim.
What about you, Evan?
Man, I don't know.
We broke Sam.
We have
Why are you giggling away from the mic?
Yeah, we all just giggle into it.
It's because he has that squeaky laugh. That's
Yeah, and mine sounds like a hyena, which is
I sound like a witch.
I sound weird.
Evan?
I kind of want, like, I think it'd be fun to have, like, those Assassin Creed style hidden wrist blades because I'm a halfling and so I could, like, share spaces with people and then shake them.
Is that like a
that'd be
magical item or
cool.
just equipment?
Or like a metal bender. Like, how they get
be
their little
magic.
and
That'd be cool.
It could be magic. It could be, poison them too or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Stealing my vibe, my dude.
I'm sorry. I won't poison anybody ever. It could freeze them.
It
in
could
place.
freeze
Poke
them.
them and then they stuck for a
Turn
turn.
into little
Oh.
crystals.
All right, Sub-Zero.
petrified.
I don't know. There's not really a magical item that I think really super fits my characters that's already in D&D as a together unit.
Right.
Okay, because I like don't think Gator Ninja Stars are.
No, I'm just trying to think of one. And I've been trying to think of it for a while.
Magical
like
battle
one that's
axe.
actually there, like pre-created. But I think something that like maybe they could have like an on-off switch where like if Lila really doesn't want Karatha button in and like taking over,
Oh yeah.
A mute button.
yeah, and like close the door, put her in another room, and she has no idea what's going on because like they have no privacy. I mean, think about that.
yeah.
Like even like marriages, you have your own private thoughts. They have no privacy. Everything's back and forth.
Yeah.
So if there's like a door they could shut and
Mute
not share
button.
some stuff or see some things.
Yeah.
The conversations that Lila and Garotha have about Boudreaux, I'm sure are pretty interesting.
If you want to see them, I have some of them typed out. What?
We'll save it for the Patreon.
Yeah, I type out all their conversations back and forth. So after like, I guess that's one of my rituals, getting back
Okay.
to that. Like, but it's not pre-game. It's like afterwards. We record, and after like that first or second edit before it's actually posted, I'll go through and I'll type stuff out. So that way something doesn't get in that didn't make the cut.
There you go.
And then I have a different group where I'll say, okay, this is what happened that involves my characters, and then this is what they thought individually, and this is the arguments that they had.
Nice.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. I wish I could do stuff like that. That's why I record things so I can remember.
That's why I record things.
Because I hate taking notes.
And then sometimes I reread them. I'm like, wow, kids had to been bothering me at some point in time. That doesn't make sense.
Glad to know I'm the persona of your children.
Another question from 20 Sides, One Face. Where is your character's happy place in the D&D world? I'll answer first on this one. Henley's is in the forest by herself. Generally. Just out there, just alone, enjoying the sunshine and just the quiet forest noises.
Mine simply, or Boudreaux's would simply be with his family in the swamp, and his family being all of the lizard folk. Just being with them. He just wants to be with his family.
So Lila's is very similar to Henley's, but she wants like that undergrowth like up to her neck, you know, and just like the noises, the sounds, and then like in just home. I guess that's her happy place. It's just home. Garotha's is definitely on a hunt with her brother. Like that's her happy place because that's probably the only time that she's ever felt like she was accepted. So. Spoilers. There you go.
Roscoe doesn't have one.
Somewhere not with potatoes.
It's just, anywhere peaceful where he can just put up his feet and relax.
Like
That's very hot.
Take a
classic hobby.
snoozle under a tree.
Yeah.
Basically, if you had a couch, that would be...
Yeah, if I had a portable couch, that's my magical item. I'd like a portable couch.
Pocket couch.
Yeah.
Fenris would probably be on stage with his just either playing a good tune or telling a great story.
Getting a good reaction out of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Making
Great
some
reaction
money.
out of the crowd, and of course the money helps.
So that night where Boudreaux got drunk and was like, "This is so wonderful," that was your happy place.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
For Fenris.
Well, you're welcome.
Okay, we have almost finished. I'm sorry, Dakota Tilly, that we cannot get to the Psalm the Chaos Bard questions. They are really, 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 really good questions, but there will be a Chaos Chronicle about him eventually that will explain if he is a deity or not.
Yep. That's about all I can say about that.
That's kind of how I felt about like my question too. Like, where's the backstory?
Right. There's some that it'll be revealed later on.
Okay, I had some things that I think would be fun, though. We want everyone around the table to do Boudreaux's voice.
Do it while I've got.
Who wants to go first?
Boudreaux needs to go first so I can
Yes.
So we can
sample
get
it.
it.
But I am so grateful for all of you being here. It was just so good.
Boy.
My name is Boudreaux. That's right, it's Boudreaux. Just sing it slow. My name Boudreaux.
Don't reveal that. That's pretty good.
That's the song you sing to get into character.
Kind of a her pre-written.
Yeah.
David, let's hear yours.
Oh boy.
I love it when David does it.
You really like when I do your voice? It's really fun. It's really get down and dirty in the swamps, playing around with Pinky or Binky.
Yeah.
I guess that's his name, right?
Yeah, Binky.
And going around and doing all that fun stuff, just going around getting wet and splashing each other in. Except there's a lot of those necromancers down there. Woo! It's really scary down there.
That sounds like Stumpy.
That's kind of what's challenging. Channeling.
Hey, love it.
good, it's good.
Love it.
Let's go, funny.
We're all looking at you, Zeb.
It's Fenbro.
I'll add that to the list. I got nothing. Do you want to do Boudreaux's again, and then I'll try to like tail on as you go.
Well, Doctor going down there in the swamp, and I just thinking.
Yeah,
about
I mean
how-
that's the swamp down there. He's gonna be down there in the boondocks or something like that. And we're gonna go like
You sound like you're from King of the Hill.
hang out in the water and catch some gators and everything that way.
Hey, that's actually really good.
Yeah, really good. Your turn, Em.
Boudreaux.
That's your whole thing.
That's what I got.
Hashem, mademoiselle. We've been eating it tonight.
I don't know. I'm not very good at it either. And you would ask me when I'm even worse because I got a head cold. Like, how's Thea do it? She was a really good. She goes, my name Boudreaux. But she sounds like a little girl, so it's great. I can't do it right now.
But the voice is deep. It's perfect.
I know, but I
Have
still
Garotha
can't
do it.
I am Garotha. Have Garotha do it. Garotha would just go, no.
No.
Respect.
Okay, question for Elsie.
Huh?
What does Lila smell like?
Yeah.
We are all wondering.
So I would like to leave that. I have no particular plans, but I would like to leave that anonymous. I
That's
have.
because you made the rest of them up on a fly. You had no
I
idea.
did, and it was perfect. And yours is even better because it's planned.
Oh.
But I don't have. I have thoughts, but I want things. We'll see. We'll see. But it will be revealed one
We won't
day.
meta.
So
We won't
Lila
meta.
Garotha has to go off again so that Boudreaux can track her down through scent.
Done.
All right, guys, let's stop planning. Okay.
It'll happen at some point in time. She just wanders off anyways. So.
All right, folks. We hope you enjoyed our first mailbag episode and our year-anniversary. Thank you all for listening, and don't forget to leave a 5-star review so Solemn can give you a shout out. And also look at our show notes for our social medias and dice bag link for Nerd Alert treasures. And we again thank you, D.A. Nichols, for writing our music that you're listening to right now. And we have so many songs coming and that are in the works.
She's been a busy lady.
We love you all so much. Take care and till next time we unroll the scroll to tell the tale.
Bye.
Bye.